Work together 9.4, we're going to record transactions in the cash payments journal. So this journal, just as a reminder here, we have 5 columns now. We have our general debit and credit, because you always need those for things that don't fit in a special column. We have accounts payable debit, purchases discount credit, and cash credit. So for this first transaction, we wrote a check to Bilton Communications for telephone bill. That one's going to be pretty easy. It's check number 521. Now notice it says check number, so you don't have to put that C in front of it. This is going to be a debit to utilities expense for 124 and a credit to cash for 124. And then on the third, we wrote a check on account to Gray Manufacturing. Basically, we're paying off a purchase order. However, we're taking advantage of this cash discount. So we're going to put the name of the company, Gray Manufacturing, Inc. on the line. This is going to be check 522. Now, what we have to do here is when we recorded this purchase invoice, we put $16.40 into accounts payable as a credit. So now we have to take that full amount out of accounts payable because we're paying it off. However, we're taking advantage of that 2% discount. So what you have to do to figure that is you're going to get your calculator over here. You're going to take the $16.40 times 2%, which is 0.02. And so $32.80 is the amount we're going to take advantage of for our discount. And that's a credit. So the accounts payable debit minus the credit is going to give us how much we're actually going to write our check for, which is $1607.20. And that's the cash credit when you do that. And then on the 9th, we don't take advantage of any discount there. We are writing a check for a purchase of merchandise with a list price. So instead of buying on account, we're going to pay cash for it. So this one is a purchase of merchandise, but not on account. The purchases journal is only for purchases of merchandise on account. So we're going to put the account purchases there in the line, and it is check 523. That's going to be a debit to purchases, because purchases is a debit, and a credit to cash. So when you purchase merchandise for cash, it goes in the cash payments journal. When you purchase merchandise on account, it goes in the purchases journal. Then on the 12th, we have credit card fee expense. And we know that because it says credit card fees here. If you're ever not sure, again, go to that chart of accounts. If there was not an account here that said credit card fee expense, it would go to miscellaneous. So we're going to go ahead and put that in there. This is going to be memo 77, not a check. So you are going to put the M in there. It's going to be a debit there and a credit to cash. Then on the 16th, we're going to write a check to Westland Supply, paying off something we bought earlier, but there's no discount here. So this one's going to be pretty easy. We can do this Westland Supply. It's going to be check 524. And it's going to be accounts payable, because when we bought that on account, it went into accounts payable as a credit. Now we have to pull it out, all of it out as the debit. And it's just going to be the amount in the cash credit, because we're just paying it off, no discount advantage. Now on the 31st, we're going to replenish petty cash. So just kind of a review of petty cash here. What you have to do for petty cash, you got to look at your petty cash report. And it tells us on here that we have $48.15 to supplies office. So I'm just going to copy that. I'm going to bring it down here. And it was $48.15 debit in the general. because we don't have an account that says supplies office there. Then we have supplies store for $57.18. Then we have a miscellaneous expense for $47.64. This is going to be done with check 525. But if you go back to your petty cash report, we also have, when you add those up, we have an overage here. Shortage or overage. That's going to be, copy that. The reason it's red is because of those parentheses. So if you don't want those parentheses, you could type in cash short and over, or you could just go to the chart of accounts and copy it. That $5 is going to be a debit in this particular one. And then your credit to cash is going to be all those added together, which should be the 154.02, because that's what it tells us up here we need to replenish petty cash. Now this overage or shortage, let's go back and review that real quick. So when we add these all together, what we spent, we get 152.97. But to bring our account back up to 200, we needed 154.02. So we were short $1.05. So we had to add that in basically as an expense. That's why it's in a debit here. And then we credit it. Had this been $1.05 overage, then your cash short and over would have been a credit and your amount over here would have been different. So you always want to look at that. But that's just kind of a review of petty cash because that's one that always kind of throws us off a little bit. And then you're finished.